Well, sometimes the spirit of jug hits you, and you just gotta.
Philip Jr. and the one and only Black Seas.
People of the universe, you're tuning into the It's Not a Podcast. It is me, Philip the Jr.
And Black Seas.
Yo, 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 yo. What up? Feliz Navidad.
What's happening?
Yo, so real quick before we get started, every YouTuber has to say it now. So, since we're on YouTube, like, subscribe, share, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, leave a comment, all that good stuff. Back with another banger, all that other kind of stuff. So, but all jokes aside, man, if you're listening to this and you enjoy it, please like, share, and subscribe, and share with a friend and comment and all that good stuff, because that would be nice. But Mr. Harvey, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, sir. I am up and Adam. I am living in the land of the living. So, I'm grateful for that.
But are we? Though?
Man, it's either that or the best sim out there.
I saw a meme a while back that said, what if when you die, and it's like it was showing a car crash in a video game, and when the car fell off the cliff, you see like VR goggles being taken off of somebody, and somebody say, so how was it?
That'd be tripping, man.
Bro, listen. Also, there's a theory that says that we are living that split second before you die, when your life flashes before your eyes.
Sheesh.
So this is not the life we're living.
This is the life we've lived.
This is the life we've lived that's flashing before our eyes in that split second. Man. Because time has no real meaning. We associate things with time, but
yeah, it's our justification. It's
right.
the measurement we use to make things make sense as best as they can. Yeah, and
I think there is validity to wanting people to make sense of things. I just also think that we don't have to be anchored to some arbitrary number as well. But we do know this: time may not be real, but you have a limited amount of whatever it is before you come out the cooch, or you get cut up out of your mama, and when they entomb you inside a burial place, or if your remains are never found, because RIP to those who were never found.
It reminds me of, was it you that put that post out there? You're born, the 3 stages of life: birth, you got to be fucking kidding me, and death.
Yeah, show you right. But let's get with the shits, man. What do you want to start on, man? You know the docket for today. How are you feeling? What you want to tackle first?
I figure we can jump right in on the Zodiacs. Like, is our Zodiac characteristics legit, or do we pick and choose them to, I guess, support our behavior?
So funny enough, I kind of ended up touching on this last night. I went to a little beer share at the local watering hole, and I met some other African-American people that were there, these 2 young ladies from New York. And I was talking to them, and one of their husbands, whom happened to not be, and I think it could have been a sugar daddy situation, but to each his own. Everybody got to live their life. But her sister was there, and me and David, one of the other guys, who was like, oh yeah, you are the mean one, you the nice one, yada, yada, yada. So we were just pretty much pointing them out. And I was like, yeah, I got pretty good discernment, but hey, that's just the Pisces in me. And one was like, oh, okay, I'm a Gemini, yada, yada, yada. I was like, but I don't believe in that shit, though. And her face was just like, well, yeah. So, I mean, I'll say this. I started off, I really hadn't looked into it too much. But for the people that, like, believe in it, they believe in that shit.
Yeah.
But I think you probably dabbled in it a little bit more than I have. So I would love to hear your interpretation on the zodiacs and the characteristics and their legitimacy and whatnot.
Like I don't know that it's any of it is holistically legitimate, but um, I think that I think there are aspects of it that hold true for most people within that sign. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like me being a quote unquote Virgo, like Virgos are characterized as being very critical. Um,
Like critical
and
thinkers, or when you like, I just want to make sure we qualify
um,
what critical is.
they overthink. They're critical of their observations of people and even themselves, meaning that they are, I don't want to say nitpicky, but they are very, um,
Particular,
they,
firm in what they
very,
want.
very
Okay.
correct, or what they perceive to be the correct way to go about things.
Hmm.
Um, and that's something that I have peeped holistically for those people who later tell me when their birthday is. I'm like, oh, I get it. Virgos, they try to be or strive to be perfectionist. So sometimes they get hung up on imperfections in the things that they do. Um, I'm not even gonna say sometimes, most times. But it's a little stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That I've always um, peeped about Virgo. Scorpios, everybody tags Scorpios as being uh, the freaks. And when I say freaks, I don't mean like um, uh, hey you guys. I mean like like signs of love making freak. Um, uh,
can I? Oh God. Oh man, just y'all can just send me to hell right right now. Oh my fucking God. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm
yeah,
sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue your thought
but
with
yeah,
that.
that's that's what I peeped about it. It's not a, I don't think it's something to live life by, but I think that there are likenesses to the reality of how people move and what has been defined within the signs that they fall in. Uh, but that's just me. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing that I wake up in the morning and I'd be like, let me read my horoscope for today. But I also like for the naysayers that believe in the stars and believe in Kemet or Egypt, it always tickles me. It was like, you can't have, which way is it now? Do you believe in constellations and the stars, or do you not? Because that's what all of it is. The stars, the sun, all that shit
It's
is,
tied in.
it's tied in. So it's like,
So I'll say this for me. I think because I was trying to find what Neil deGrasse Tyson said about the zodiac, and I'll touch on that in a moment. But I feel like yes, the constellations are real. Um, whatever constellations that we assign zodiac signs to, I think I find it interesting how somebody looked up and said, "Oh, this looks like a fish," or "This looks like
yeah,
a lion," or whatever the case. That's always interesting to me because it's like you kind of gotta use your imagination a little bit to make it work. But
mm-hmm.
like like the Little Dipper and Big Dipper, like yeah, that looks like a dipper.
Facts.
Yeah,
Facts.
you know what I'm saying? They not some cast iron skillets like we use in the South, but
Yeah, the
they is what they
saucepans.
is. There you go. There you go. But I see something that Neil deGrasse Tyson mentioned is that the zodiac actually contains 14 constellations, not 12. So there are a lot of Scorpios who are in a different zodiac, and there are also let's say It says the 14th constellation is set in, it's like Cetus. It is a large constellation that dips into Pisces. That means the sun is passing through Cetus briefly as it absorbs through Pisces, but you're not normally informed of this in horoscope pages. So just based off of this paper that Neil deGrasse Tyson wrote in 1994, which I will add the link to the description of the podcast if you guys want to read it. But he's basically saying that while, yes, there are zodiac constellations, there are 14 of them. So what justifies us using the 12 that we use? And then how can we then say that, how can we, I guess, arbitrarily assign characteristics to these zodiac signs? And so for me, like I said, I haven't really dabbled into it enough to be able to speak on it, but I will say the people that do, I guess, whatever research, or they're into those horoscopes and talking about characteristics and I guess certain traits or characteristics, I think there is some validity to it, because while this may not be a science that is as old as insert whatever science you want to, I think there is enough of a what is it called? Enough beta testing to give us an idea of the legitimacy behind it, or it being more than a coincidence. Is that
understood?
Is that making sense?
Yeah, and that's basically, you know, what I was hoping to convey. Is like I don't think it's coincidence that it just so happens that people born between the 23rd of August and the 22nd of September happen to be this way, you know.
Yeah.
Like
have you met anyone, or have you looked into like your sun sign and your water sign and all that good stuff?
So you mean your sun and your moon?
Yeah,
Because
that I'm sorry. A water sign is a Pisces, but your
yeah,
sun and your
because
moon is the. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, because I think I'm a, oh wow, I think my moon is Capricorn.
So I'm assuming that's a whole nother layer to your characteristics and your traits based off of.
Now I just know that that's the title. I haven't, like I said, I'm not deep into it. I just, you know what I'm saying, once I knew that I was, it's almost like one of those, you don't ever see a car till you know somebody with the car, and then you see that car everywhere.
Yeah.
It's one of those type things. It's your awareness becomes more keen once you're enlightened to the existence of something.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know a lot about Capricorn other than my brother, my mother, my father are Capricorns.
Gotcha.
And I want to say, yeah, and I want to say my aunt, my grandfather, my uncle, yeah, it's let's just say there's a lot of them in my family.
Gotcha.
Capricorns, but and that's all I know of that. I just happened to, and it's something recent where I saw somebody post, man, you know, it's a real struggle to be a Virgo sun and a Capricorn moon, and I was like, I wonder what my moon is, and it just so happened it was end up being the same thing. I was like, man.
So I'm assuming that's based off of what constellation the moon was in when you were born.
I guess, you know what I'm saying. I guess because
I'm gonna look up my shit and see.
Because I think in order for you to determine your moon, I think you have to. It's not just your birthday. It is your birth date.
So like month, day, and year.
Correct. Because the sun is, you know, relatively the same sun, you know, regardless.
Right.
But But as far as your moon, the moon cycles change frequently, even though it's the same side of the moon you see every night. Anyway, because the
You
moon
know,
apparently doesn't rotate.
yeah,
Uh,
I mean, but we are under the firmament anyway,
nor
biblically
do the
speaking.
nor do the stars move. But
But
yeah,
we're on a rocket ship, spinning, rotating, moving through the galaxy. The Earth is a rocket ship, in my humble
yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
It is a Death Star. No, you know what, man?
Ain't
Fuck
it
it.
though?
Yeah,
Ain't it though?
literally. But no, we living on a flat Earth, man. I don't have any science to back it up, but
I
I
don't,
just
and I don't have any science to discount it. And that's what I tell people. I was like, look, man, I don't know. I just know what I've been told. The information
yeah,
that's been presented to me thus far, it supports more so that it's spherical, but there's not enough information to say that it could not be
yeah.
a semi-sphere.
Here, listen, until a regular person, i.e., you and I, goes to space, until we can see a live launch from whatever base they're on and just keep the camera rolling. And then NASA has already said that the pictures from space of Earth are tampered with, basically, like they're edited in some kind of way. That's why some of them don't always look the same. You know, you got the size of Africa being a lot larger, a lot smaller, and some, which Africa is a lot bigger than what we try to give it credit for. But
Yeah.
that's a whole other conversation as well. But let's talk about this, man.
Absolutely.
If the church ain't using money for kingdom building, if you know that the pastors is doing some funny business with the money, is it okay to not tithe? And is it actually stealing from God if you take from the collection plate? And then I have another layer that I want to add to that once you answer that.
I'm going to say yes. If you believe that your tithes are being put to a certain cause and you come to realize that they are not, then I believe that you can choose not to further support that. That's like I would liken it to a parent that is paying for their child's school. If I'm paying for you to go to school and you aren't learning anything or you aren't participating, then I'm not going to continue to pay for something,
Yeah.
not reaping or not seeing the fruit of said payment. Now, as far as taking money out the collection, what you mean? You mean
If
like when
somebody
that plate coming
passed
around?
that on,
Because does people do that? People still out the collection plate? I don't know, man. That's one of those things like cussing in the church. It's just not something that I would yeah, root on, you know what I'm saying? Or screwing in the church, but we're not finna go there.
so I was talking to my father-in-law, and um he was saying how church used to be sacred and now it ain't. He was saying, in Jamaica, if you had too much to drink, you could find a church and sleep on the bench in the church and you'd be
Yep.
fine. But now that's not a situation anymore. You got chains and bars on the windows and all that good stuff. So I would say there is a certain what is it, sanctity that the
Yes.
churches used to have, or sacredness that they used to have,
Yeah.
that they don't. But I'm assuming, and I know about assuming, but I mean, any decision you make off of calculated data or risk, you're assuming that the risk is greater or lesser than what you believe it to be. So it's okay to say
Yeah.
assume. I'm assuming that niggas gonna be niggas and somebody has stole from the collection plate.
Man, I just, I didn't know that was, like, I understand that it's always a possibility, but man,
Now,
it just seems
now
real treacherous to take
I'm
out the
not gonna
collection
do
plate.
it. I'm not gonna do it because um I still have a certain reverence for the church. Like even now, like if I'm running by Alice house to see Brandon and I ride by Union Hill,
You turn your music down.
I mean that's just I mean like if you don't if I don't know if people from the north do it, but I know people from the south. You can have 12s and all the speakers in the world being down the block. But you approach that church by 20 yards away from the church, even if it ain't on Sunday.
Yeah,
Ain't nobody got to be at the church. You're gonna turn the speaker down. And then when you get on a little bit by, you're gonna crank that thing back up.
yeah.
But to add another layer to that, do you feel like if the church ain't using the money for kingdom building, would God be upset if you were to take that tithe money and donate it to, like, I don't know, let's say Boys and Girls Club or the Harvey Water Foundation to
Uh,
help people in a different kind of way?
I don't believe so, because I believe that it's still helping to build the kingdom. That's
Mm,
one thing that
come on.
that's one thing that I will say in my time going to church over here, that I think they had right, or at least the message was right, was that um, church folks spend too much time in church and not enough time helping those outside of the church.
Yeah,
It's
Jesus
like
was a
it's
man that
like
walked amongst the people.
it's like healthy people being at the hospital for what?
Yeah, but like I had a manager when I was working at Verizon, and he was like, I want to be a man that walks amongst the people. I was like, okay, I see your little Jesus. So we pick on him, but I mean, there is some validity to that. I feel like the job of the church, the physical structure, is to prepare you for the outside world.
Yeah.
And now I understand everybody ain't called to be a missionary, because I don't want people preaching to me and proselytizing to me, when I'm just trying to go to the Kroger's or to the Walmart or Teeter Harris. I
Mhm.
came across those when I went to where was it? St. Simon, I think. But anyway, I feel like that's where the real church should be, because
Yeah.
the church should be wherever you are, and it should be your job to make sure that the church is being represented in a good way. But I mean, like I said, I think we've gotten away from a certain reverence for the church and whatnot. And I can't sit here and talk too much because I'm not the biggest church goer and everything. But I know how things used to be and how things are now. And that ain't necessarily me trying to hold on to the past, but I can just tell you that there is a difference. How about that?
It, and to your point of not being an avid churchgoer today, like I don't believe that anyone discounts Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan, or Isaiah Thomas for speaking on basketball, and they ain't playing right now. So,
Man, talk to him. Talk to
so
him.
if you spent a um
A dearth of time.
yeah, what I'm saying, if you spent enough time in church to be, I'll say, well versed for your place of worship,
Mm-hmm.
then I don't think you should discount yourself from speaking on what you recall things to be. That's not saying You're not saying what the current state is. You are just relating your experience to the time in which you experienced it.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Because but that's life. You can only speak from the experiences that you have
Correct.
or that you've had.
Yeah.
Or is it an experience a ever occurring thing? Would it be experiences that I have? or I've had, because you have, I mean, you have the memories of them. So,
Well, I think experience is something, if you're talking about it, something that has already happened, then you have had an experience. But if you're
mhm,
talking about a skill or something that has stuck with you, then you have it, if that makes sense. Like when
yeah,
yeah, you don't, your resume doesn't say, I had experience with Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. It says, I have experience utilizing. You know what
mhm,
I'm saying? It's an active thing because it's a skill that you have in this present moment, not in my experience as a, you know,
mhm,
it, I think it really is based on what the subject matter is.
got
Um,
you.
yeah,
Getting them interview answers right,
yeah, no diggity.
no doubt. So I think you brought this one up. I thought this was a good conversation to have, but quality or quantity, which determines a friend's worth. And
Yeah.
I'll let you kind of kick that one off. I want to see kind of what brought you to thinking about that, or kind of where your
Oh,
mindset is on it.
like I'm curious, you know, what the general consensus is on it because I feel like there are friendships that are in a shorter time frame that have a greater significance to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel as though there may also be those friendships that are based in the length of time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's you know um, we have been friends for X amount of years. Like and you know, and you also had that hybrid. Like for our particular friend group, I would say it's a hybrid because we have had quality friendship for a long ass time. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like if I just had to use a round number, I'd say 25 or 20, 25 years we have had
Mm-hmm.
quality friendship. Um,
Right, right. Yeah, and I like the number that you put on it, because I think the times that we were maybe like forced to be around each other, for
yeah,
lack of a better word, I don't think that would count. But like as we got older and we chose to be like, hey, can I go over here? Can I do this?
yeah,
And I think, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I think
yeah,
for like me and BT, I think it would be easy for me to say, oh well, we've been friends since birth.
yeah.
And while that may be the case, I don't think we connected like we did until, you know what I'm saying, we got a little bit older.
Hmm.
And I think
Yeah,
that's when you see the value of friendship, is when you choose to be around said person or said group of people.
yeah,
I think, you know, to your point, I do believe that I hate using the whole phrase, you know, when some people are with you for a season and yada yada yada. But I think there is some validity to it. Like,
yeah,
I can't discount or discredit the friendships that I had at Grambling. Uh, some of those friendships that I had, you may not call it a friendship because we're not still talking anymore. But while we were in those relationships that I had with those people, they mattered to me. They meant
yes,
something to me.
yeah,
And I think they serve their purpose. And I know that may sound bad sometimes when people say a person served a purpose, because it becomes more of a thing than a person. But I think people do serve a purpose for a reason.
yeah,
And it's okay to just be friends with somebody for the 4 years that you're in college and unfortunately never talk to them, because hopefully people will still have those friends like you and I, that
mhm,
longevity that we're talking about.
yeah, yeah. Like I think all real friendship serves a purpose.
Hmm.
Like I don't think you can have any relationship without it having a purpose. If there's no purpose to a relationship, then there's nothing to keep it going. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? That doesn't, I think what happens is people, they pervert uh, purpose. They think you're
Hmm.
using someone. Um, but if if I could argue that, I would say um, no one has value if they're not useful.
Hmm.
So, so if by chance you're befriending someone who is of no use to you, then why are you befriending them? You know what I'm saying? Like, if uh, now, should it be a reciprocal relationship? Sure. Um, I like people who deposit into the friendship bank as much as they withdraw from it.
So I had to give you your flowers and give you your credit last night for that trademark. I was talking to my father-in-law about that, and I told him how you liken friendships or relationships to a bank. You can't withdraw on something that you haven't been making a deposit on.
Right.
It just ain't happening. So
Yeah.
so yeah, man. When I feel like for me, I'm thankful for the friend group that I have. I think every person has it set up this way, whether they realize it or not, but everybody has that inner ring. you know it's almost like the walls of Jericho. There were two different walls. There was an outer wall and an inner wall. You got your inner wall, your tight-knit group, and then you got an outer wall that's, some that is like, hey, I may not talk to you every day, but one or two times I talk to you in a month, or every 2 months, everything is good. When we hang out, it's cool.
Hmm.
Then you got that outer wall where it's like, I may talk to you once or twice a year. If we ever came across each other and we kicked it, we would probably still pick up where we left off. Then you have that last wall where it's like, hey, um, I'm only gonna hit you up when I think about you, but I feel like hitting you up, but I still got love for you. And I
Yeah.
hope, everything is good for you,
Yeah.
but we ain't really talking like that. And I think I'm trying to get better at making sure I still reach out to people in that outer wall, because I want to do a good job of just checking in.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily, I'm not necessarily concerned about whether or not I can provide anything for them, but I mean, at this point in my life, I am trying to network with people and just see what kind of value add they can provide for me and what
Mhm.
kind of value add I can provide for them. Because I always say it's not who you know, but it's about if who you know knows you. And I have a
Yeah.
lot of people that I know that know me, that if I needed to call in a favor for, I can, take advantage of that. And I don't mean necessarily like a literal favor, but it can just be, hey, do you have a contact for
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z? Because for whatever reason, I feel like I'm a middleman for a lot of people. Like, I may not know how to do said task, or I may not know the information for said question,
Mhm.
but I have physical humans that I can go to get you answers outside of Google, which is a whole nother rant that I need to go on one day, talking about when people call folks lazy for not using Google and going straight to somebody asking them a question. But again, I'll say that for another day, for when I'm really pissed off at the world. But I have people that I can call upon to get information to help other people. And I take pride in that, because I don't think everybody has a friend group where they feel either comfortable with doing it, or just even can say, hey, I know I can go to John Doe and he gonna look out. I can go to Jane Doe and she gonna look out. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, man. Definitely. Definitely, man. But you have to define your relationships as it best suits you, and
Yeah.
also keep in mind that everyone that you want to have those set relationships with won't necessarily be agreeable to those terms, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I can do it.
Yeah, as much as you have your standard and boundaries, you have to also respect others' standards and boundaries as well.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think sometimes, like you said, you have to kind of define stuff. I think people at times can, how do I want to put it? I mean, I'll just say assume, but like people will assign a certain level of quality to a friendship
Hmm.
that is not actually there,
Hmm.
and I say that for like when you work with somebody. I've worked in a lot of, I don't even say a lot of different jobs, but I've had 3 jobs since I graduated. I worked for 3 different companies. I just put it that way. And there are people who I thought were friends, but once I left that company or once I left that location, it's like this was not a friendship. This was a relationship of convenience. We worked 8 hours together, uh, depending on kind of the schedule, 2 or 3 days out of the week, you know. So just naturally, we were going to eventually start talking to each other. We maybe not would kick it off because, obviously at work, you got some people that you're more cool with than others. But let's just say for the ones that you hit it off with, there's a perceived level of like, oh, this is like a legit friendship. And then you realize that it's not, no hard feelings towards that person, but it ain't what you thought it was. But then, I will say I have, with my previous jobs, I would say, at least 2 people that I would consider like legit friends. And that's probably Travis and Dean, which is funny because those are the only 2. Well, no, I'm sorry, Tori, because we worked at Verizon together. So I would say 3. And each one of them have their own purpose. And I'm sure I serve a purpose for them, whether it's me being the Black friend, so they don't have to be considered as being racist, or or the friend that helped out, doing wedding videos and all that good stuff a couple of years ago. So I know my role. But speaking of friendships and dealing with people, are you okay, or is everything okay? I feel like this is a use. I meant to put useless questions, but I put useful questions. But I feel like those questions are useless because
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's
That
what I meant. That's what I meant to say. That's my fault. And I feel like I saw it when I seen it, but I just never went in and changed it. So I
yeah.
apologize. But the reason why I say that is because what does is everything okay even mean? And frankly, people don't be telling the truth about how they really feeling. So I don't think it provides any quality, but I will open the floor to you.
I feel like it's a probe to see a few things. One, your level of comfort with them. 2, if there is anything wrong that you want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the third could be uh just being nosy, you know what I'm saying? Like that's, sometimes that's a possibility. You just want to know what's
Oh
going
yeah,
on. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Not even to aid in correcting anything, but just,
Mm-hmm.
just for literally just to be nosy, you know what I'm saying? Not to say
Yeah,
that it's going to be malicious or anything like that, but like you said, it's useless. It's a useless probe. But I don't and are you okay? I think is an indication that I'm I'm peeping that something is off with you, but I don't know what to ask. I just know something is off.
right,
So
right.
are you okay? Is like, you straight? You good? You know what I'm saying? You good? Because that could be their way of expressing concern for your well-being. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I won't agree that it's um, useless, but I will agree that um, it's not holistically useful.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
I,
It depends on who's asking. It's the you got to
oh
read the
yeah, yeah.
relationship.
Yes, yes. So I think one of the reasons why I thought of that is because I think I was caught on a vulnerable day, and somebody asked, "Is everything all right?" And I just laid out why everything was not okay, and their response was, uh, I don't know if they were ready to receive the event that they received, and
Yeah.
I feel like it was just a generic question as opposed to uh, a honest concern for well-being. And go ahead.
So I can't remember who it happened to. It was either Nick or someone in one of her associate groups, circle groups. Uh, but a German brought it to someone in that party's attention that Americans aren't necessarily genuine when they ask that question.
Yeah.
It's a
I
reflex.
can't
It's
I
like,
can't.
how are you doing?
Yeah.
But you don't stay to hear them reply, how you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's become a reflex. And
Yeah.
to that
Yeah.
point, I think that may have bled over into is everything okay? Or
Right.
how you know what I'm saying? What's the other thing?
Everything all right? Are you okay?
Yeah.
But okay, but see, I feel like I, I, I guess it's the southerner in me, but I feel like how you doing is
Like,
I,
hey,
I yeah, it's just yeah, it's second nature, like you said, like it's just that's just how we get down,
yeah. Like
or like the what going on now, you know.
exactly. Like
We we ain't necessarily asking what's going on, but it's just a
and I think it's specifically, I couldn't get it out, specifically for Germany. And I've peeped it around Europe as a whole. They don't do a lot of small talk. If
mm-hmm.
they don't know you, they don't acknowledge your presence. It's not like a hey to everybody like we do down south. It's not like that.
Oh man.
They're very targeted. Who they speak to in that manner is those who they know, and they basically they have read the relationship and they know there is no relationship, so therefore I don't have to give you this um this topical hello, how are you doing,
Mm-hmm.
because that's not, we don't, you won't care either way, you know what I'm saying? You know I can't help you, and I don't know you enough to know if something is wrong or if it isn't.
So, so answer me this: if you were to go to a local watering hole there, and there was a stranger sitting beside you at the bar, are you saying like you wouldn't necessarily be able to have small talk with a stranger, or like how would you like how kind of give me a little bit more details on that? Because for me, that I would find that hard because I think like myself and like you and I think like Brandon and pretty much all of the horsemen, like we don't meet strangers. So I think we're more open with having conversations with people.
And
And
I
I think
think,
we're fairly genuine with our conversations that we have with people.
yeah, so for that particular setting, I think it's a social setting. So you're
Okay,
more
gotcha.
likely to be able to have a conversation with that person.
Okay.
But you know how we as Southerners have um, identified that in other regions of the U.S., people aren't as cordial or
Folks are
welcoming,
rude. Folks are
inviting.
rude.
Yeah, we put it as rude when in
No, no,
actuality
that's what I'm saying.
they're just,
I'm quoting what we say. Yeah.
oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, but they rude up there. They don't speak. They don't, you know what I'm saying? But I
Just
think
look
it
me in my face.
exactly. But I think what it is they're just being more tactful and pointed
Mm-hmm.
with the energy that they put into inquiring about someone's well-being or greeting someone to make them feel welcome. Because, you know, as a stranger, it is, to a degree, it is kind of weird to just be welcoming of any old Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Yes. I don't know why that phrase just is hilarious to me. And it's not even because it's Dick in there, but like why does it have to be Tom, Dick, and Harry?
But it's just like when,
Why can't it be Jim, Pete, and Joe?
man, bro, I like the first time I heard my mama say I don't know that lady from Adam's house cat. I was like, I was
Okay.
like, but if you think about it, it's, you know, Adam
Yeah.
house cat. We don't know Adam's house cat. We didn't even know Adam had a house cat. So you really
Uh
don't know that person.
yeah, I wouldn't have been messing around. You know what? Shout out to all those cat lovers out there. Um,
Yeah.
I've actually considered getting a cat. I don't know why, but I feel
They're
like it might.
they're more self-sufficient than
Exactly. And I think that is the more appealing part of the relationship with the cat or with the animal. Um, but so talking about like, just having conversations and everything with people. Um, I don't know. That's for me, that's something I enjoy. I won't say it's like verbal gymnastics or like verbal sparring, but I enjoy being able to see how we all relate to each other.
yeah,
Because I feel like anybody who doesn't have like a legit social disorder that can actually carry a conversation, I feel like any and everybody can find something to bond over. Now, it may be harder for, let's say, a Elon Musk to sit down and have a conversation with Hahu, but at the same
yeah.
time,
Oh, who ain't
um,
gonna slow down from talking to them though?
not is it exactly. And so those are conversations I enjoy. Like I enjoy having conversations when I'm around people that I presume, uh, you know, categorize or put into a box without talking to them, but assume
Mhm.
that they have nothing in common with me. Like I went to a Christmas party last week, and in that social group, we have a lot of people who this particular friend that I went to, they are entrenched in downtown Macon. So there
Mhm.
are a lot of different movers and shakers in that realm. And so talking to those people, at times I can kind of be like, I won't say like intimidated, but it's like,
Mhm.
what kind of value can I have to this person who's a director over this board or who's doing X, Y, and Z? But
Yeah.
I can say that I've never talked to someone in that specific setting, and maybe they've just uh, cultivated a good outer wall of friends
Yeah.
that can talk to their inner group of friends. But I've never felt like I was out of place. Well, I felt like I was out of place because one of these things is not like the other when I go to this type of event. But
Mhm.
outside of that, like I never talked to somebody that I didn't find interesting or um, was disingenuine, which I feel like it's a double negative to say that, but was not genuine with their conversation. Now, I will say this: the "how you doing?" That's not what they do. They had to say, "Oh, hey, hey, I'm Bob. Hey, I'm Philip. How you doing? So what do you do?" And then that's kind of how the conversation starts.
Yep.
Now, sometimes that could be like to gauge how important you are or
Mhm.
what can you do for me. But honestly, those type of events, that particular setting is a cesspool for networking in a good way.
Yeah.
So I think that's why people lead off with, so what do you do?
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of
Yeah.
people there that have been able to bring value to myself in the past
Yeah, man.
that I
It's
met there.
yeah, it's interesting how conversations get started depending on the environment that you're in. I
Yeah.
know for me, what do you do is not typically a start off question. Um,
Well, but that goes to your point about Germans not really being all up in your business like that. So I think that would probably be one of the last things they want to ask.
yeah, like when I'm at a friend that is, I mean, at a friend, when I'm at a party
Mhm.
with one of my, that's for one of my German friends, more than likely I will ask, who is it that you know?
Mhm.
Because that'll let me give me some type of idea of the person that you are, if I know them by chance, and
Mhm.
then it's do you live in this area? What kind of music do you like? Like those are like off the top of
Mhm.
my head,
Mhm.
those are the questions that I try to use as my uh gauge of all right, how am I breaking this ice? On the rare chances that I have done this and not been prompted by said friend
Mhm.
as an introduction, because I'm not one to I don't just jump in the deep end with strangers. It takes me
Now, what would you consider the deep end, though?
I wouldn't consider myself to be a successful room mover. Like, I'm not going to do well moving around the room, introducing myself to everyone.
Okay,
I
gotcha.
need a fluffer.
So you would need to be with me or Jordan.
For sure. Yeah, like I've done it, but it's not something that I'm confident in or that I'm overly comfortable with. Which I know me knowing that should motivate me to change that, but it hasn't
Ain't been laid on your heart yet.
it hasn't knowingly deterred me or hindered me from progress thus far.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But I also think that if we're just having an honest conversation, I think that your look is going to attract people to you, or at least catch people's attention. Because,
Bro,
I mean, not a lot of people have a beard like that. Not a lot of
man.
Black men have a beard like that. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah, and it. So yes, it does attract people to me, and a lot of times the icebreaker becomes, love your beard. Say, how long did it take you to grow? And then I tell them bye woody woo, and then some kind of way, age comes into it, and no one ever believes I'm the age that I am. So that begins the conversation. They're blown away, and then we just get talking about nonsense especially once they find out I'm American, because the first thing they want to ask is about politics. And I was like, man, that's not my
which I still can't believe, you being you and the you that I've known for years. I was still blown away the first time I saw you, like, with the full-fledged Santa Claus beard. I was like, damn, this nigga, he really doing that. I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, it was, man. I think I've told you. I know I've told a number of people, but you know how it started.
No.
Nick told me that I couldn't grow it longer than 4 weeks in 2014.
Okay. Man, I do mine for about 3 months, and then I have to cut it because mine is not asymmetrical, and I feel self-conscious about it, and nobody realizes it. Like, nobody sees what I see.
Correct. And which is most times, that's
life.
Was that a post in the group that was talking about being critical about something that nobody even noticed?
It could have been, but yeah.
But yeah, man, you just trim that side and until you just
but see, I just have
like
certain
keep shaping, and then eventually
I just got certain areas that don't grow in as well, or like I also peek at it sometimes.
Yeah.
And so that messes up. So I always try to make sure, like, I don't mess with my beard, but I can tell when it's starting to get to a certain length, because that's when I play with it more. But around like 3 months is normally like the fullness thereof that I tend to enjoy. And then that's when I go ahead and cut it. But this last time I grew it out, it just started looking decrepit. Like, it was thin, and I had split ends and all that kind of stuff. But since I've been using some oils and some creams, and kind of changed up my diet a little bit, especially like if I've been drinking a lot of beers in a week, I can see the quality go down. So I'm trying to make sure that I, am mindful of what I put in my body. So what comes out of my body is how I want it. But yeah. So with that being said, man, we can go ahead and close this thing out. Like I said in the beginning, like, subscribe, share, do all those things that I asked you to do. And I'll be your friend for life, and I'll sing at your wedding, and I'll cry at your funeral. And if you want me to officiate your wedding, I'll be able to do that as well.
Okay, little boost.
I'm telling you, man. Oh, Charlemagne was the officiant at Schultz's wedding.
Schultz married?
He got married this weekend, yeah. You know what, man? It's so funny. Like, I know I listen to him more than you listen to him, but like, when I tell you that boy is in love, man, like, he is, even though he's a funny guy, he makes offensive jokes. you can, I guess because I watched him so much, you know, like I see the human in him, and
Mhm.
he really loves his girl. I'm not saying that the relationship is gonna work out, but I mean, obviously, I mean, it worked out enough to where they got married. I don't know what the marriage is gonna look like, um, but I wish him the best. But yeah, but Charlamagne was the officiant at the wedding, so I can't wait to hear the next podcast to hear the conversations about the wedding because I'm
Uh,
sure some shit went down.
yeah, and you'll have to tell me which young lady it is, because when you type in girlfriend, there's two different young ladies that show up, and
Is
there's
is
no
that Amanda?
timestamps.
Is that a Amanda chick?
Uh,
He used to date a girl named Amanda Phillips, I think, and she was from
oh, and
Canada.
she does look familiar, so
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
not the
Man,
Amanda Phillips.
they broke up a good minute ago, but it was so funny because
Sarah Phillips.
yeah. She mixed chick.
Yeah, and that's the one I remember from
Yeah,
when I was tapped into Brilliant Idiots religiously.
yeah. Oh, I'm still there every Thursday, every Friday. But there was at one point when people kept putting champagne bottles in her comments because there was some run in with her and Drake. And so they were trolling him. No, I'm sorry, they were putting champagne bottles in his comments to
Yeah,
troll him, you know, because that old champagne
Champagne
poppy.
Papi.
Yeah, he finna take your girl, man. But this is gonna be the last podcast for this year. We're gonna take a short break for Christmas and for the new year. But we want to come back to you guys bigger, better, stronger, better conversations, more topics, all that good stuff. So just make sure y'all stay tapped in, man. Make sure y'all following us on Instagram and Twitter and all that good stuff. And also, if you're listening on Anchor, feel free to send in any kind of questions or comments that you have. I can verbally hear y'all. Any kind of comments or questions, hit me up in the DMs or comment on YouTube. You know, be more than happy to hear from you guys. But as we normally do, Jamal, I need you to say something positive to the people before we get on up out of this thing.
Don't wait for the perfect time, because you don't know when that is. Um, Live life to the fullest, because every second is a blessing.
Show you right. So my son started basketball yesterday, and it was a shit show, which it normally is for kids this age playing sports. But I was thankful for that. And after the game, they went into one of the little side rooms because it's at a church. It's at a fairly nice sized church here where I live, and they have classrooms and all that kind of stuff. So after the game, the coach sat down with the kids, and he gave out stars that we can actually iron on their jersey. And Kingston got the blue star, and it was the star for having a good attitude and not
Mhm.
pouting or anything like that if things didn't go as well, whatever the case was. Which, frankly, as his father and knowing him and living with him, that is not his strong suit. But I also understand that his uh his quick temperedness or his easiness to get flustered is inherent to the genetic code that was given to him from his parents. But I was very pleased with that. So I just want to tell everybody, you can't control actions that happen to you, but you can control your reactions. Now, some are going to be reflexes, like if a doctor hits you on your knee and you have a knee-jerk reaction, um, that may happen. But as far as anything else, your response to things you do have control over. And sometimes it's okay to take a step back and chill the fuck out. And
Yeah.
if you need to do that, I recommend you do that before you respond to any said action that's going on. Kingston was over there sitting down doing yoga or meditating while he was on the bench doing one of the quarters. Why, I don't know, but if he needed to be in peace for a little bit, then I commend him for that.
Yeah, man. He was
I thank
stressed.
God. I thank God for that. That nigga ain't going through shit. He got it made.
See, don't discount. You don't know. You don't.
I
Just
don't know
because
his
it's not.
struggle.
Just because it's not a level of stress that registers on yours, don't mean that he ain't stressed.
Yeah, I don't know his struggle.
Is it you don't know my struggle? Oh,
Nah, it's all good. You gotta make sure we got that copyright.
bad. Yay.
But with that being said, man, all bullshit aside, man. For whoever's out there listening, man, I love you. I thank you for listening. I thank you for sharing. I thank you for coming back to this because I have pretty much had the same numbers across the board. So there has to be some type of following, but I just need to hear back from that following because I definitely want to build a relationship with you all. So thank you for listening. Happy Kwanzaa, Christmas. What is the Jewish holiday around this time? Hanukkah.
Yeah, I was like, did you
Yeah.
say that already?
No, I said Kwanzaa.
Oh,
You
okay.
gotta represent the Pan-Africanism first.
Bad.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I guess never mind. I'm not dealing with no Israelite stuff today.
No, please don't.
Which by the way, I do got a sermon for y'all real quick, but we'll say that for another day. But just remind me to talk about the Israelites and the River Jordan. But I love y'all. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. And as per usual, can I get that good old chill to close it out?
Chill.